Well, how about y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. Just got off of work, ran up to where we're keeping the does and the steer goats. Just checking on them. Everybody looks pretty good. They're all out here behind me, but they've been munching on fescue. They've got a bale of hay behind us that they're about out of. I'm gonna have to bring a new bale up here before too long. I just like to come by at least, every other day. Just check on everybody, make sure everybody's here. Number one, this time right here in their pregnancy is whenever we started noticing some abortion issues last year. So I'm coming up here kind of looking at everybody's rear end, make sure it's not, blood or anything on it, to be able to tell if anybody's aborted or not. They're on a protein tub and mineral feeder, just checking those, make sure everything's good. I really don't have to worry about the water. The couple that owns the property do a really good job of keeping up with the water for me, so I don't really have to worry about that. But everybody looks good today. Actually kind of standing here looking at our little boar pig here. He's the one laying down flat, not the one sitting up, but he's doing good, growing really well. He's about twice the size of the piglets that I've got at the house at his litter mates. He's already about twice the size of them, so he is definitely growing really well. We're looking forward to breeding some pigs here probably about April. I'm gonna let my two little young sows get a little bit bigger before we try to do that. But everything up here looks really good. I'm gonna run to the house. We've got several things to do down there. It's time for the pigs to move into a new paddock and just start evening chores. So we're back at the home farm now, and I am standing in our greenhouse. Several videos back I mentioned that I was probably gonna make a video of working here in the greenhouse, but it just didn't come together. I was literally getting about 45 minutes a day, come up here, plant some plants, and then having to go home. And then in our last video that you saw, we were barbecuing the pig, and I had good buddy Joe Barry step in the greenhouse and help me finish up by tagging all these plants. But we have about 1,200 plants planted in here right now. Anything from cabbage, all kinds of lettuces, onions, cilantro, spinach, what else? And cauliflower and broccoli. The only thing that's came up so far, and part of this is because it's been taking me so long to plant things, is our broccoli. Actually starting to see a little bit of cauliflower coming up, but hopefully these plants get a good start. I have been putting a heater in here at night, just keeping the temperature, just trying to keep the cells from freezing. It got down to like 27 degrees last night. All these plants are early spring plants, cold hardy, so we shouldn't have a problem, but I just want to help them out as much as possible. Getting started with these. Hopefully we're going to be able to sell some early spring plants this year, get our greenhouse and our plant sales and the whole produce side of the operation off to a good start this year. Looking forward to planting a lot of these lettuces and onions and stuff like that for myself as well. But figured I'd show you the greenhouse. Whenever we get to doing the spring crops, I'll definitely bring you in here and bring you along with me. I need to build a table going down the side of our greenhouse here, so I can get all these plants out when it's time to start in just a few weeks, getting our tomatoes and everything going. But the greenhouse is good to go. Hopefully very soon we're going to be selling some plants. So now that's covered, let's go take care of the animals. So about 2 months ago, we built some pens up in the front of the pasture where the pigs are now, and we put 2 strands of hot wire, and I left all the fences where I'd have to hook the hot wire up to them so they're not always charged in case a limb falls on something and the pig's not actually in there. And once we got the pigs into that system, they kept going through the wire, going over the top of the wire, and I just wasn't getting a real strong charge on that wire, and I couldn't figure it out. There were several times it was actually something touching the fence, but for the most part I couldn't ever see anything touching the fence. So a couple weeks ago, I actually when I moved the pigs up there about 3 weeks ago, I cut a piece of this wire here. This is insulated wire. This is used to go under gates that you bury under the ground. You come back up to your high tensile and tie it back in. But I decided I was gonna try this, see if it made any difference. And so what I did was I cut about a 10, 12 inch piece, come through here and get a cut. And I just stripped off the end about 1.5 to 2 inches in. Slide that off, and then from there, you got your naked wire now. From there, I come and bent that over, kind of squeezed it a little bit tight, and now whenever I'm hooking up my wires, I'm using this. I'll have another one on this end. Let me get it done real quick. You'll see what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about. We got a hook on each end. It's kind of tight where we can slide it over our wire. It's going to have a little bit of tension on it, so I wouldn't think that it came off. But basically what we're doing on our perimeter fence, we're tying into the electricity, and we'll hook this onto our cross fences for our pig pens. And it's been working out really well, getting a real hot charge on it now. The pigs are bigger, so they're not as likely to try to test the fence as much. But this has definitely put a lot more juice in that wire. I'm about to go grab the tractor. I've got another barrel of feed in my truck. We're gonna grab that. We're gonna go up and move our pigs this afternoon. Their feeder's empty. We're supposed to get a good bit of rain tomorrow. So I wanna go ahead and get this all done today and get them into a fresh new pen. Before we get started with the pigs, we'll go ahead and top off these guys' water. I'll feed them on my way out. Oh man, these water lines in these pastures, I'm in love. I don't know how I went 3 or 4 years without them. Mr. T, Mr. B back there, T-bone. Let their water fill up. I'll go ahead and start piddling with the pigs while this is going. So this is how we're running our pigs right now. We've got several different sections of a 2-strand wire. That top wire is probably about 14 inches. But basically all I'm doing is moving these pigs about every 10 to 12 days or so. What I've been doing is filling up that feeder twice. Whenever it runs out, that's when we're moving them. They're going into this little piece right now. But as I was explaining earlier why I don't keep the wire hot when they're not in a pen. So right now this wire's hot, this one's hot, that one over there is hot because our 2 big pigs are over there. But this one right here is not hot right now, and it was hot, and I couldn't figure out why my electric fence was dead. I didn't think anything was on down here, but this rotten pine tree fell on our fence, grounded it out. So first thing we need to do this afternoon is move this off, tighten these wires back up, and then the little piece of wire that we made is going to connect onto this wire, making it hot up here by this is our perimeter fence right now. We'll hook it onto there to hook it onto this wire, making this whole strand hot. Let's get this log moved, get the wire tightened up, and I need to fix up another gate, and I'm gonna show you what we've changed up with our gates. So in the beginning of doing these pasture little paddock rotations, I made those 2 wood gates. You can't see them down there on the far end. There's one and there's one on past it. And my idea was whenever I moved the pigs, I'd have 2 gates. I had one on each side of our pen. But being that I let our bigger pigs out, they're staying in that one area. We're using those, and honestly, I made some wire gates and they're a whole lot easier. You don't have to pick up a big, heavy, muddy gate. Every time you move the pigs, all you gotta do is open a wire, and the pigs might take a second to come through just because they're kind of nervous about it. But eventually they come on through and you've got your little paddock rotation. So we're gonna go ahead and fix up a gate real quick. I picked up 2 insulated handles today. We'll fix that up, and then we'll open this gate, let them in here, and move their feed and water on over. So I'm up by the highway. It's right at 5 o'clock. Everybody's coming home, so you might hear some cars buzzing behind us. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and tie our poly wire. I just cut about a 8-foot piece of poly wire off of a reel. We're gonna go ahead and tie that onto our little insulating handle here. The electricity goes through the inside of this handle, hooks on. That fence right there is hot. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of hook it on to the insulator the best I can right now. And then we're gonna tie it onto this side. And if this isn't hot yet, we're gonna tie it onto this side. And then once I put it on that wire, it's gonna make this strand hot. But we're also gonna put our little handle or little piece of wire that we made up there at the top. Let's see if I can do this without getting shot. Like I said, I'm just coming back to this wire. I'm gonna tie it as tight as I can. That's way too loose. I'm gonna blame my tying abilities on my dad. He never signed me up for Boy Scouts. So that's one done. Got another little strand. We'll knock it out real quick, and then we'll attach it to our wire. Hook it onto our fence and we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the pig start drifting through. I still need to hook my wire up, but it's got power coming through that handle. We're gonna go ahead and open this up, let the pigs start coming through. It's gonna take a minute for them to trust that this hole right here doesn't have power on it. And then we're gonna start moving their feeder and water over here. We'll get them all fed, set up, and ready to go. Here they all come. Go ahead and get the wire set back up real quick. So as you can see, the pigs are moved. They're having a good old time. But what we're gonna do is hook our wire on here, and then let's do it with the channel locks. We're gonna pull this wire over, hook that on there. It's just guaranteeing that we do have power on this line. I forgot my fence tester, but I think there's power on here already, and there's at least power on that one yesterday. So I don't see anything that's going to cause any difference on this line. Should be good to go. I might run up here with the fence tester here in a little while, and just to double check, make sure it's nice and hot for them. Well, they got the pigs moved. Works out perfect. I really like this system right here. I'd really like to see if I could take it to a larger scale one day. Bigger pens, more pigs, more land, not coming back as often. Where we're at right now, we just don't have anywhere to put pigs. This little strip of woods up here by the highway is about the only property that we can put pigs on. I know we had them down there by the house for a little while, but that's not something that we're going to do all the time. So really would like to find some more land to try this on. I'd really like to basically set up some pens like this, whether it be the Premier One netting or actually 2 strands of wire. Fence in an area, put the pigs in there for a week or so, let them go through, clean up the underbrush, and then run the goats behind them, and keep doing that for several years. I really think we could open up some, I guess what they call silvopasture, go through with a chainsaw, cut all the smaller trees out, let some sunlight actually start getting in there and growing some grass. That's my main goal for, that's several years to come, to be able to start doing that. But that's where I want to get with these pigs, or get with the pigs, kind of doing stuff like that. You know, pigs can be very destructive, especially if they're in an area for a long time. For instance, my pig pen over here, can't see it because of the sunlight, but that's my old pig pen. I raised pigs in there for about 5 years, and just having pigs in the same spot over and over again, killed off a big oak tree, killed off a cedar tree, killed off that pine tree that fell on this fence. So if you leave pigs somewhere too long, they can be destructive, but if you use them as a tool and just go through kind of cleaning underbrush, I think they can be very beneficial, especially, you know, kind of where we want to get with running goats in some brushy areas. Run the pigs through first, run the goats, get some grass growing, possibly run some cows and goats. It's just where I'd like to get one day. But the water's filling up right now, and I'm about to top off their feeder here. I'm not going to bore you with that. I might set up a time lapse and put it at the end. But I really appreciate you hanging out with us this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We've been getting a lot of new subscribers here recently. Super excited about that. Our views are up, our view duration's up, our subscriber count's up. So a lot of good things going on in the YouTube channel, and we really appreciate it. But like I said, we appreciate it, and we'll see y'all on the next one.